Rob, W1RCP here, and I had no intentions of doing an activation today. I was going to look for something special to do for my 100th activation, and well, this morning about 10 o'clock, my buddy WD4DAN, Dan, over there in Valdosta, Georgia, just a short cry from me, sent this in our Discord for the Ham Radio Adventure guy. He is stuck in the mud, so guess what? I got to go POTA. Now, at this point, I've got some convincing to do because I've got to convince my 6-year-old that he wants to go help pull Dan out of the mud. And the convincing went well. He was totally signed on to the adventure. And this is about how far we have to go to rescue Dan. Now, he's not in the park yet. He hasn't made it there yet. He's stuck in the mud, maybe a quarter of a mile from the actual park boundaries. So I have an hour and 5 minutes to get to him so I can go get him. Now, of course, the time shown here is if I were to leave right now. This morning, of course, it would have put me there about 11:30, 12 o'clock, somewhere in that range. Let's go on a road trip, I say, and we're going to go activate a park once we get there. We arrive on the scene, and we just tug him right out. So it took 2 tries because there was a tree behind me. I didn't want to run into that. But we pulled Dan right out of that deep old mud. Boy, he was really in it now. And the next thing that we're going to do is park his truck and use the Jeep to get in there. We had a pretty treacherous path through the quarter of a mile that it probably took to get into the actual boundaries of the park. And we used the Jeep to get back there since I could take the links off of the sway bar and put it into 4-wheel drive. Dan and I made it into the park and we started calling CQ. And we were nearing the end of our activation and we had about 90 QSOs. I said, let's do 10 more so I can have 100 QSOs on my 100th activation. And so you can see the map populating with all the contacts that we made today. We worked 20 meters, and then we went to 40 for a little bit to get some local folks, and then we did 17 just for fun, and then we went to 15 meters to finish it out, and then we did 2 park-to-parks to make our final 100 QSOs. Hi, caramba.
I just can't make good videos.
Yes, you can. Just hold it. It's expected to be bumpy because we're like on a trail.
Yeah, this feels like a corn dog, so I'm just gonna...
All right, pick it up a little bit and get it away from the mud on the windshield. All right, here we go.
Here you go.
Hear them, the lockers clicking.
Expected for me to fart.
See if you see Dan anywhere. Let's take the easy way and go this way.
And keep it where I don't die.
We'll try not to. This is the easy part. Wow, Dan walks fast.
For real.
He probably could have beat us walking instead of us having to drive back here.
I can probably walk faster.
All right, you're doing a good job of videoing, buddy.
It's called I briskly walk.
I think he ran. I honestly think he ran after his little mud bath. All right, try to hold it still, buddy.
Keep all these bumps.
Oh, you know it's gonna be bumpy. Look at this hill.
Yeah, this is the most epicest.
Oh, just wait. Hold it with both hands so it doesn't go crazy.
Why gotta help Dan's laptop?
It's not going anywhere. Okay, we gotta get around this tree. Got a little mud pocket right there. I think I'm gonna drive over the edge.
Found you, Dan. Huh?
All right, make sure you video him.
Videoing him. Making sure we don't run over him. Oh yeah, this is better because I can literally just see through the phone.
Let's not run Dan over. Well, we made it over that. Made it over that.
Hey, yo.
Woo!
You're literally just killing me. Yeah, the video messed up. Because when it did it, my fingers went kaboom and they got flipped.
We almost made it. One more bump.
You can edit the other video in this bump.
Oh, what was that? An activation may start out looking like this. Stuck in the mud. Not going to make it to your destination. And we just had an adventure. I came down, pulled Dan out. We regrouped. We hopped in the Jeep. We made us 100 QSOs. So it started off looking really bleak for Dan. And turned out he just suckered me into an activation to a very rare park, too. So it turned into this, you know, Ollie and myself were having a good old time, giving Dan a thumbs up because he's taking the pictures. Hate that I didn't get a picture of him in this video. But my son, he's 6 years old, and he was along for the ride. He sat and played games and hiked while we did POTA. And he even posed for some pictures with the little canyon down there and the Withlacoochee River, and then posing with the muddy Jeep. And he doesn't like to get dirty, but boy, he leaned right into that mud. We had a good time taking the links off of the sway bar so we could get through these treacherous woods. And the whole thing turned into 100 QSOs for my 100th activation. And if it hadn't been for Dan getting stuck in the mud, I wouldn't even have a story to tell. So we definitely have a story now of pulling Dan out of the mud and going down to rescue him. So thanks for tuning in. Hit subscribe and like and all that jazz. W1RCP. You ready?
Okay, go fast. Daddy.
Yep, listen to all that mud. That's what Dan got stuck in.